y'all, and welcome back to a new devotion. We're reading from our book, Turning Points with God by David Jeremiah. Today's title is Good Out of Evil. It's found on page 192. Our scripture comes from Romans chapter 9 and verse 17, and I will be reading that from my King James Bible. And it says, "For the scriptures saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth." Critics of God say the existence of evil proves his imperfections. If God were all-powerful, he would stamp out evil in the world. If he were all-loving, he would rescue those who suffer at the result of evil deeds. Either God is not all-powerful, or he's not all-loving. Either way, he is an imperfect God. A righteous God and the existence of evil in his world do raise questions, but the Bible answers them. Evil is a manifestation of sin, and because God is light and in him is no darkness at all, that's found in 1 John 1 and 5, he is not the cause of evil. But God uses evil to demonstrate his power and accomplish his purposes. When Samson chose in disobedience to marry a Philistine woman, God used it as a means to bring judgment upon the evil nation. When Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, God used that betrayal to provide a safe haven for Joseph's family in a time of famine. With God, evil never has the upper hand. Let me say that again. With God, evil never has the upper hand. If you are feeling the effects of an evil action, know that God is able to cause good to come from it. The ultimate goal of all creation is God's glory, and that includes the evil that temporarily lurks within it. God is so powerful that he can direct any evil to a good end. That is a quote by St. Thomas Aquinas. Wow. I'm sure we've all heard this from someone at some time. You know, if your God was so loving, why does he let the little children suffer? If your God is so good, why does he allow bad things to happen to good people? You know, yada, yada, yada. And I get it. That's a human emotion, but that's when we are humanizing God. This is my take on it. When we are humanizing God. And he tells us his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. We're never going to understand the fullness of God. But he is so good that he can take such horrible situations and work them all for our good. How many times have we discussed that? How many times have we experienced that? Where it looks like your world was just crumbling and falling apart, and you're in the midst of it, and you don't understand why it's happening the way it's happening, but you're praying and you're believing and you're trusting God. And he takes what looked like your life was falling apart, everything you had worked for, you was going to lose. And somehow, when he gets done with it, it all makes sense. It all works out for your good. And you can see how he used that situation to better you. And I'm speaking from experience on that, y'all. Totally from experience. I never understood when I was going through the things that I was going through, where I talk about how God had to humble me and he had to strip me of everything that I was secure in, of everything that I loved. He had to get me by myself. And I couldn't understand why, because at the time that all this was happening, I was really, really earnestly seeking God and, you know, doing my best. I was getting in my prayer closet. I had a prayer life. I was going to church. I was doing everything you're supposed to do. And it was like I was being punished for something that I didn't do. Like, I could see all these people around me that would, you know, in my opinion, you know, this is just how I'm seeing the situation, that's not living as good as me, and they're just flourishing. Everything's happening for them. And here I am over here on the side. I'm doing my dead level best. And I'm just being punished. And it's like, I'm not going to lie, I got to the point and I said, what is the point of this? What is the point of me doing my best and trying so hard if this is going to be the result of it? But I stayed with it. Thank you, Lord. I stayed with it. And there was so many people praying for me. And the Lord would put different people at different times in my life to give me that little bit of bread that I needed to get me through. And when it was all said and done, and I see where I am today, I'm like, it all makes sense now. You had to do that to get me to a place. You had to let things happen that I didn't understand, that didn't feel good. You had to let betrayals happen. You had to get people out of my life. So much had to happen. Now, some of it was self-inflicted, but again, it goes with what it says, with God, evil never has the upper hand. If you're feeling the effects of an evil action, know that God is able to cause good to come from it. And sometimes the evil that they're talking about is self-inflicted. We do it to ourselves. We bring this on ourselves. And a lot of my stuff I did. A lot of my problems I brought on myself. But there again, all the more how he worked everything out for my good. And even now when things happen, there's things going on in my life and I just don't understand. I don't understand why. I can't grasp why it's happening. Some things have been going on for several years. Some things are current. It's just like, I don't understand. I testify. I share the goodness of God. I tell others, keep the faith. And I'm keeping the faith. And it just doesn't look like anything's happening to fix it. But again, his time, his ways, his thoughts are not like ours. And I understand that probably some of the things I'm going through that's been going on for 3+ years and even currently, God will take all of that and everything I've been through, and there will be a lesson in it for me. I don't believe he wastes anything, any opportunity. And even Delana and I were talking, and she's going through something that she's praying and trusting God about. And I said, just be still, because there is a lesson in it. There is a lesson in everything we go through. So I say that to you. I'm saying this to me. There's going to be a lesson come out of it. And when it's all said and done, he is going to work all things for our good. We can trust him. We can trust him. And we may not understand his ways and his tactics, but that's life too. There's a lot of things that happen in life that we just don't understand why they have to be the way they are, but somehow it just works. Well, he's better than that. And I'm so encouraged to know that there's nothing that I go through in this life that he can't work for my good if I just trust him and let him. If I would get out of his way and let him. But I just want to reiterate these couple lines. With God, evil never has the upper hand. That is the biggest lie the enemy wants you to believe, is they have all the power. And I've told y'all before, they do not. The devil wants you to think he is in control. The devil wants you to think that he has all this power. But you've got to understand and remember and remind him of what I'm fixing to tell you. He has to go to God and get permission. He don't even have the keys to his own house. He is a nothing and a nobody trying to make it in a world. And if he can bully you into thinking that he has all the power, then he has control over you. But we are smarter than that. We're onto his game. And we don't accept it because we know who is in control. If you're feeling the effects of an evil action, know that God is able to cause good to come from it. He tells us in his word, he works all things for our good. How many times have we discussed that? How many testimonies could you share just in your lifetime of how he turned something bad and worked it for your good? we have countless testimonies. The ultimate goal of all creation is God's glory. Our main objective, our main purpose for being on this earth is to praise and worship God, to give Him all the glory. That's it. That's why we were created. We were created to praise and worship Him. And that includes the evil that temporarily lurks within it. They know the glory of God, and they know they don't stand a chance. But if they can bully you into thinking that they do, then they can weasel their way in. But that's why we have a prayer life. That's why we get into our word. That's why we listen to our praise and worship songs. That's why we talk to our friends and worship God and testify. Because we know. And not only do we know who is in control, we know Him by name. We know Him by name. That's amazing. Wow, this is a good one. I pray that it has blessed you like it has blessed me. It's kind of spoke to my spirit today and lets me know that whatever it is I'm going through, God is in control. And what feels like it's falling apart, it's actually falling together. God is going to put it back together. And when He gets through with it, it's going to be better than you could even imagine. I'm living proof of that. I'm living that, because when my whole world was falling apart and I just could see no way out of it, when He got through working it all out, it ended up better than what I had even asked for. That's how good He is. I love you. I pray you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.